Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Bhagavata Samajaya Bhagavata
Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat ki Jai Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur ki Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai Samaveta Gaur Bhakta Vrind ki Jai Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kada Mahyam Tadati Swapadantikam Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna. Dear devotees, welcome to today's Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat reading. Usually on Sundays we don't do reading, but since now there are devotees from other parts of the world as well, apart from US. So, and we have the recordings available too. So why waste another day? So Saturday, Sunday we will read Chaitanya Bhagavat. So we started Antyakhanda yesterday. We'll continue today. So Saturdays and Sundays we'll be reading Chaitanya Bhagavat. So in Antyakhanda started after Mahaprabhu took sannyas. So we saw what happened after Mahaprabhu took sannyas. So Mahaprabhu expressed his desire to enter the forest looking for Krishna. So his sannyas guru Keshav Bharati Maharaj said, I will go with you. So then Mahaprabhu instructed Chandrasekhar Acharya. There were 4 devotees that had accompanied Mahaprabhu for sannyas, to attend the sannyas ceremony, to help with the arrangements. 4 devotees were there from Navadvip. So Mahaprabhu sent back Chandrasekhar Acharya because to inform them that the ceremony is complete. Mahaprabhu has taken sannyas and Mahaprabhu has entered into uh, the forest. So when they got this news, all the devotees, because you remember when Mahaprabhu took sannyas, um, he didn't, well, a very few confidential devotees, he gave them a hint that he would take sannyas. But exactly when he is leaving, he didn't tell anyone. The night before, we saw how all the devotees had come. It was not like he was giving, he was telling them goodbye, I'm leaving. No, it was just like any other day for the devotees. They were just in ecstasy being around him. And in the middle of the night, he left. So the next day morning, they all came to meet Mahaprabhu as usual, and they see Sachimata standing outside, stunned like a stone, only tears coming down her eyes. And that's when they got the news. She told them that Mahaprabhu left, my son has left. All of you are fortunate, I am fortunate. Because others can still see him as a sannyasi, if they saw they could. But as a mother, she wouldn't be able to. So she lost him forever, like that. Or even because Mahaprabhu spent time with them so much, he would be with them day and night performing kirtans. But And then Chandrasekhar Acharya came back and confirmed, yes, the ceremony is completed, because it's not that as soon as he went, he took sannyas. That whole day he spent the night also discussing Krishna Katha with Keshav Bharati. And then he performed kirtan all day like that. And then it was only the next day that he took sannyas. And after the sannyas ceremony, there was such kirtan. We read that yesterday in the beginning of Antya Khanda. Um, Keshav Bharati Maharaj just threw away his danda and he was also dancing in ecstasy like this. So uh, after that, before entering into forest, Mahaprabhu informed Chandrasekhar Acharya, you should go. So Chandrasekhar Acharya went home and went to Navadvip and informed. And then all the devotees were devastated. Not just devotees, everyone. What? Nimai Pandit has taken sannyas. We'll never be able to see him again. How are we going to live? They were fainting. Devotees were fainting. And everyone had decided individually in their hearts, they had taken this, they had come to this decision. They were determined to end their lives. And Advaita Acharya said, if you people stop me, if anyone stops me from drowning in the Ganga during the day, then I'll do it at night. But I'm not going to live. I cannot live without Mahaprabhu like that. Of course, Mahaprabhu knows everything. So, while in the forest, Mahaprabhu is traveling with Keshav Bharati, and also there were Nityananda Prabhu, Srivas Thakur. Was it Srivas Thakur? Mukunda was there. Nityananda Prabhu was there, and Mukunda was there. I forget the third devotee. So there were, yeah, we can go back and look. So 4 devotees were accompanying Mahaprabhu, and then Mahaprabhu was constantly, wherever he went, he was dancing in ecstasy, and um, he was just dancing in ecstasy wherever he went, and delivering the people. He said, I'm going to go to Vakreshwar Tirtha. So he started in that direction, and so many villages were coming on the way, and he was dancing away in ecstasy, and seeing him, everyone else was dancing like that. And then reaching all the way just a few miles away from Vakreshwar Tirtha, he decided, I won't go. So he was going in the western direction, and he said, I won't go to Vakreshwar Tirtha. I'll go to Jagannath Puri. So at first, I'll go to Jagannath Puri. So he turned east now. Again, he started coming. And then he entered Radha Desh. Radha Desh is the place, is the uh, province or the district where there is Ekachakra Nityananda Prabhu's birthplace. So the Lord entered Radha Desh, and there also he saw the cows. Actually, I think that was the first place he went, Radha Desh. He saw the cows and he went into ecstasy. He started dancing, and then after that he said, "I'm going to Vakreshwar Tirtha." And then almost reaching Vakreshwar Tirtha, he turned around and he said, "I'm going to Jagannath Puri," and he started walking. And then he told Nityananda Prabhu. Actually, he was coming he was walking, and then he came to a certain place where village after village, he couldn't hear anyone say Hare Krishna at all. Nobody was chanting. And then Mahaprabhu felt, uh, one more point. The residents of Navadvip, when they were ready to give up their lives, they heard Akashvani. They heard a voice from the sky that said, don't give up your lives, because very soon, in just 2 or 4 days, the Lord is going to return. Once again, you're going to be united with Him. He will perform kirtans with you just like before. You're still going to have His association, so don't end your lives. When they heard this Akashvani, then they all went back to their homes waiting to see Mahaprabhu. So that's how they didn't end their lives. So meanwhile, here Mahaprabhu understood the condition of the devotees. So he sent Nityananda Prabhu. I want you to go to Navadvip and tell them that I'm coming to Shantipur. and they should all come there, like that. So then Nityananda Prabhu went very ecstatically. So before that, I was telling you that when Mahaprabhu reached this place where nobody's chanting, and he was feeling very disheartened that he couldn't hear the holy name anywhere. And then all of a sudden, one boy just said Hare Krishna. He chanted the names of the Lord. And the Lord was in great ecstasy. Just some random boy. So Mahaprabhu asked, all this time in the past few days in these villages, I didn't hear anyone chant. Now all of a sudden I heard the name of the Lord. So then he said, is Ganga nearby here? He asked the local people. So they said, yeah, it's just like a few miles. No wonder. Wherever there is the river Ganga flowing, there is naturally bhakti and people will be chanting. And then very happily Mahaprabhu started going towards the Ganga and they reached there. And then, not only, and he sent Nityananda Prabhu to go and inform that he was coming to Shantipur. So Nityananda Prabhu went and we read how Nityananda. Hmm? Right. Well, Nityananda Prabhu swims. Yeah. So then there is glories of Nityananda Prabhu given there. How he's always, uh, he's like a little boy. He's always, in ecstasy and, dancing and going away. And sometimes he would just sit by the roadside and he would be crying loudly. And sometimes he would be laughing and rolling on the ground. He would stand under a tree in a threefold bending form, playing the flute like this. And then when he would swim in the Ganga, he would swim unlike Anantasesh, like very swiftly he would be swimming in the Ganga. So Vrindavan Das Thakur says, I personally saw this. I saw Nityananda Prabhu swimming in the Gangas very swiftly like Anantasesh. So like that, we were reading these. So that's where we were at yesterday. Let's continue. I will read a few lines from before, so we'll have the continuation. So Nityananda Prabhu actually reached. Let's see. Yeah, we'll start from here. On Lord Chaitanya's order, powerful Nityananda happily went to Navadvip. Intoxicated by tasting the nectar of ecstatic love, Lord Nityananda roared again and again. Overcome with bliss, he became like a maddened lion. All his pastimes are beyond any order or prohibition. For a moment he stood under a kadamba tree, assumed a charming threefold bending form, and played enchanting melodies on the flute. Seeing many cows, he began to roll about on the ground. Becoming like a calf, he drank the cow's milk. Whatever path he took, he always danced. He was not in external consciousness. He was plunged in an ocean of bliss. Sometimes he would sit down by the road and weep. Anyone who heard him felt broken at heart. Sometimes he would loudly laugh. Sometimes, tying his garments like a turban around his head, he would be clothed only by the four directions. Sometimes, accepting the nature of Lord Anantasesh, he would swim like a snake in the Ganga's currents. I have personally seen him gracefully swim like Lord Anantasesh in the Ganga. Lord Nityananda's glories are inconceivable and unattainable. In the three worlds, there is no second person merciful like him. In this way, swimming and swimming in the Ganga, Lord Nityananda finally emerged at Lord Chaitanya's bathing ghat in Navadvip. So that's right. Nityananda Prabhu practically swam in the Ganga to reach Navadvip. And swimming, where did he come out? He emerged at the bathing ghat of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Navadvip. Again, clothing his body, he first, because he tied the turban, a dhoti like a turban around his head, he was swimming. And then coming out, now he once again clothing his body, he first went to Lord Chaitanya's home. He saw that Mother Sachi had been fasting for 12 days. So that's how long it had been since Mahaprabhu left home to take sannyas. He saw that Mother Sachi had been fasting for 12 days. Only by the power of her pure devotion to Lord Krishna did she still breathe. She was overwhelmed with the emotions of Mother Yashoda. From her eyes flowed an unending tears of love. Whomever she saw, she asked, are you from Mathura? How are Krishna and Balaram? Please tell me. Please tell me. Then she would fall unconscious to the ground. So she's in the mood of Yashoda Mai when Krishna Balaram left to go to Mathura. So that was Yashoda Mai's condition. So now Sachimata, who's the same person, she's in the same mood. And then saying that, how are Krishna and Balaram, she would faint. Sometimes Mother Sachi would say, the flutes and horns sound. Does Akrura return to Vraja? In this way, Mother Yashoda was plunged in this way, Mother Yashoda was plunged in an ocean of separation from Lord Krishna. External consciousness was not manifest in her body. Lord Nityananda at once offered Dandavat obeisances to Mother Yashoda's feet. Mother Sachi's feet. Seeing Lord Nityananda, the devotees embraced him and loudly wept, saying, Son, son, Mother Sachi fainted. The devotees could not understand. They did not know in what direction they were being thrown. Lord Nityananda embraced everyone. Everyone's body he sprinkled with tears of love. I'm just remembering how in Braj, all the gopis, gopas, they were in separation from Krishna, and Balaramji had gone there to pacify them. And he would spend time with all the gopas and all, Mother Yashoda, Nanda Maharaj, and with the gopis to pacify them and to remind them about Krishna. Remind meaning, giving them happiness by discussing about Krishna. Like that, here Nityananda Prabhu is here, and all the devotees are on the verge of giving up their lives, their bodies, and Nityananda Prabhu is embracing each person and pacifying the devotees. Lord Nityananda Prabhu embraced everyone's body. He sprinkled with tears of love. To everyone, Lord Nityananda sweetly said, quickly come to see the Lord. This is even better than Lord Balaram. In the case of Lord Balaram, he said Krishna is going to come soon. But in the case of Nityananda Prabhu, as Nityananda Prabhu, he said, come quickly to see the Lord. You'll see him now. The Lord went to Advaita Acharya's home in Shantipur. I have come to bring you. He's still in Navadvip and he's telling, the Lord went to Advaita Acharya's home in Shantipur. I have come to bring you all there. Let's go. Mahaprabhu is in Advaita Acharya's home in Shantipur. Separated from Lord Caitanya, all the devotees were devastated. Hearing Lord Nityananda's words, they again became filled with happiness. Everyone was overcome with bliss. A blissful tumult of Lord Krishna's names suddenly rose. From the day the Lord left to take sannyas, Mother Sachi had fasted. Yeah. So when they heard Nityananda Prabhu that the Lord is coming to Shantipur, or he is in Shantipur, let's go, they were all overcome with bliss. A blissful tumult of Lord Krishna's names, they started chanting, suddenly rose. From the day the Lord left to take sannyas, Mother Sachi had fasted. For 12 days she had not eaten. It was only by Lord Chaitanya's power that she remained alive. Very sad at heart by seeing her, Lord Nityananda consoled her with sweet words. He said, what secret of Lord Krishna do you not already know? What do I know that I can tell anything to you? Please, do not keep even half a sesame seed of grief in your heart. How will even the Vedas personified attain the mercy you have already attained? The Supreme Personality of Godhead, whom the Vedas always seek, has become your son. The Vedas are seeking him. That means even the Vedas can't reach him. You don't find the Supreme Lord in the Vedas. Although the Vedas give all knowledge, but still if you go to study the Vedas to find the details of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, you don't find. So the Vedas are seeking that Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he has become your son. He is the life of all souls. Placing his hand on his chest, the Lord vowed always to protect and maintain you. Mahaprabhu, keeping his hand on his chest, he promised that he will always protect you and maintain you. Again and again the Lord said to you, your activities are the most exalted kind of devotional service. Mother Sachi's activities are the most exalted kind of devotional service. All that I know, all that I own is yours. You inherit it. Who's saying this? Mahaprabhu is saying to Sachimata, and it is being quoted by Nityananda Prabhu. Right? Again and again he said that your activities are the most exalted kind of devotional service. All that I own is yours. You inherit it. The Lord knows what is best for everyone. Surrender to Him and be happy. Mother, please quickly go and cook for Lord Krishna. Then all the devotees will become happy. Everyone wishes to eat the food you have cooked with your own hand. But if you fast, then the Lord Himself will fast also, isn't it? If she doesn't cook, then how her Lord will eat? Cook and then offer the food to Lord Krishna. I wish to eat what you have cooked. Hearing Lord Nityananda's words, Mother Sachi forgot about her separation from the Lord. She quickly went to cook. Saintly Mother Sachi first offered the food to Lord Krishna and then placed it before Lord Nityananda. Then she offered the food to all the Vaishnavas. Everyone happily ate. When everyone was completely satisfied, Mother Sachi ended her 12-day fast. Then, accompanied by Lord Nityananda, all the devotees made ready to visit Lord Chaitanya. Everyone in Navadvip had heard the words. The Lord became a sannyasi. Hearing that his wonderful new name was Sri Krishna Chaitanya, everyone called out, Hari, Hari, and glorious, glorious. Hearing that the Lord was in Puliagram, everyone happily went to see him. Chanting Hari, Hari, young, old, men and women all happily went to see the Lord. Even they who had been blasphemers also went with the devotees. Hiding his true nature, the Supreme Lord took birth in Navadvip. Unaware of this, we blasphemed him. This is how the blasphemers are thinking. The Supreme Lord, hiding his true identity, has appeared in Navadvip, but unaware of this, we blasphemed him. Now we must go and surrender at his feet. This was the whole purpose, isn't it, for Mahaprabhu's taking sannyas? Those who are not surrendering to him, those who are not taking to devotional service, he wanted to trick them also into taking to Krishna consciousness. So, and that's exactly what's happening. They're feeling that he took sannyas, he's the Supreme Lord. We didn't understand. Now we should go and surrender at his feet. Only then will our offenses be broken into pieces. Speaking words like those, they happily followed the devotees. I do not know how many people traveled on that path. Countless millions of people came to the ferry ghat. The ferrymen did not know how to carry them all across. Some people made improvised rafts. So then people say Indians are very expert at this, jugaad. So they made their own rafts improvised, right? On the spot. They created something. Created means you'll see, right? They would just float on something, hold on to something, and then go across. So some people made improvised rafts. Some tied great water jugs to their chests. Some floated across on banana tree trunks. How many people could not, I'm sorry, how many people could not cross? That means they were not able to. There's no boats, there's no place on the boats. So many people were still remaining on the banks, not able to cross. In whatever they, how many people could not cross? In whatever way they could, everyone crossed. But somehow or other, everybody was trying to cross. They were crossing, right? Hold on to some banana tree or a water pot or something or the other, and just start jump into the Ganga to cross and go to the other side to see the Lord. Breathing heavily and chanting Lord Chaitanya's name. Many pregnant women also crossed. They were breathing heavily, but chanting Gauranga, Gauranga. Even pregnant ladies crossed the Ganga. I don't know how. Maybe on one of these rafters. And they also crossed. The blind and the lame all crossed. Those who were not able to walk, the lame, they also crossed. The blind people also crossed. By the power of Lord Chaitanya's name, they all saw the way. Even the blind were able to find the way by the power of the Lord's name. Again, this reminds me of Lord Ramchandra's pastime. All the monkeys, they threw the stones, writing the name of the Lord. By the power of Lord Ram, the Supreme Lord's name, Lord Ramchandra's name, the stones floated, and then all the Vanaras were able to cross the ocean to reach Lanka. So, by the power of Lord Chaitanya's name, even the blind and lame, everyone saw their way and they were able to cross. Thousands and thousands of people piled into one boat. How is that possible? Don't ask me. I don't know. But by the mercy of Mahaprabhu, how far did the boat go before it sank? You may get that question, even if somehow or other, not one, but thousands of people, how maybe standing one on top of another or what, I don't know. But how far could it go before it sank? Even so, that means it sank. It couldn't hold all the people. But even so, the passengers did not become unhappy at heart. Loudly chanting Hari, they all swam to the other side. So the boat sank, but they didn't become disheartened or, like uh, they didn't become heartbroken. What will happen now? They were not worried. Hurry, hurry, hurry. And they just kept swimming somehow or other. And they got to the other side. Spiritual bliss took birth in everyone's heart. Everyone swam in a great ocean of bliss. They who did not know how to swim, look at this, even those who didn't know how to swim, somehow swam anyway. By the power of the Supreme Lord, they crossed without trouble to the other bank. How many people crossed to the other bank? I do not know. In the four directions, Hari was the only sound anyone heard. Forgetting hunger, thirst, home, duty, and troubles, everyone happily traveled across the Ganga. The sound touching the borders of the universe, everyone loudly chanted Hari. In this way, they arrived at Kuliagram. Hearing this unprecedented tumult of the sound Hari, Lord Chaitanya, the crest jewel of sannyasis, came outside. What's going on? What was the unprecedented and wonderful glory and splendor and handsomeness of the Lord like? No one can describe it. He was like millions of moons rising together, right? All these devotees are chanting, Hari, Hari, there's a great tumult. And then when they come to the Ganga looking for the Lord emerges out. And what did he look like? Millions and millions of moons rising together. With his graceful mouth, again and again he chanted, Hare Krishna, Hare, Hare, like that. From him, flood of bliss flowed without stop. In the four directions, everyone offered Dandavat obeisances. Who fell on whom? No one, no one fell, or no one knew. Yeah, no one felt, right? Because by seeing the Lord and hearing him chant and seeing him, with flood of tears flowing from his eyes continuously, that is his love. Everyone offered Dandavat obeisances, and there's millions of people in that place. So practically one on top of the other, they were falling, but nobody felt anything. They were not in external consciousness. No one was afraid of brambles on the ground, right? Generally, when you bow down for obeisances, you will check, is it okay? And, otherwise just bend like this from top. Sometimes we do that. But they didn't care where they were and, what was on the ground. They just all fell on the ground. Dandavat obeisances. Filled with bliss, everyone offered Dandavat obeisances. Raising their hands, all the people called out, Save me, save me. At this, Lord Chaitanya became very pleased. Countless millions of people had come to that place. They filled the village and all the nearby grassy fields. So many people were there. So again, I'm remembering Ramayan. When the Vanaras came, Ravana came out on the roof of his palace to see, uh, what was going on. Practically everywhere on all sides, It was filled with Vanaras. No spot was left where there were no Vanaras. As far as the eyes could see in any direction, on trees, on mountains, in fields, on the roads, around the walls, everywhere. It was just Vanaras, Vanaras and bears everywhere. So here in Chaitanya Leela, Mahaprabhu saw that the entire village was filled with these people who had come to see the Lord, and even all the neighboring fields, everything was filled with people. So, uh, countless millions. It's unimaginable. You don't know how many millions. You cannot count how many millions of people had come to that place. They filled the village and all the nearby grassy fields. From many different towns and villages they had come. Anyone, this is not just from Navadip, from all around, all different villages and towns, they all assembled. Anyone who saw the Lord's face no longer wished to return to his home. There were great crowds. Kulyagram, as well as all the nearby towns and forests, was filled with people, even forests and other towns nearby, because it was filled, there was no space, so they were just crowding. All the nearby towns were filled up, forests were filled up. Seeing Lord Chaitanya's charming face, everyone felt fulfilled within and without. Fulfilled within and without. Lord Chaitanya cast his merciful glance on everyone. Then he proceeded to Advaita Acharya's home in Shantipur. So now this must be a procession. Mahaprabhu is going, so everyone will go, right? So Lord Chaitanya cast his merciful glance on everyone. Then he proceeded to Advaita Acharya's home in Shantipur. With great excitement, Advaita gazed at the master of his life. Falling at the Lord's lotus feet, he offered Dandavat obeisances. Making a piteous sound, he wept. He would not take his two arms from the Lord's lotus feet. With tears of love, Advaita bathed the Lord's glorious feet. Lifting him with both hands, Lord Chaitanya embraced Advaita. Advaita Acharya floated in tears of love for the Lord. Fainting in ecstasy, he fell at the Lord's feet. After some moments, Lord Chaitanya pacified Advaita. Then the Lord sat down. Great bliss arose in Advaita's home. Advaita had had a small son named Achyutananda, an effulgent son at that moment, clothed only by the four directions. Small boy, so he was not wearing clothes, but very, very effulgent. That boy was very wise. He knew everything. His power was beyond conception. He was very fortunate and glorious. He was a worthy son of Advaita Acharya. His every limb was covered with dust. Laughing and laughing, he came to see Lord Chaitanya's feet. He fell down before the Lord's feet, dust and all. Lord Chaitanya placed the boy on his lap. How fortunate, no? How fortunate means how glorious this devotee is. The Lord picked him up and put on his lap. Lord Chaitanya said, Achyuta, Advaita Acharya is my father. That means that you and I are two brothers. Achyutananda replied, You are the Supreme Lord. You are the friend of all souls. You are everyone's father. That is written in the Vedas. This is a little boy saying. The Lord said, the two of us are brothers. Achyutananda says, you are the Supreme Lord, so you are everyone's father. Not, right? You are even Advaita Acharya's father. You are everyone's father. You are the friend of all souls. That is written in the Vedas. Lord Chaitanya and the devotees smiled at Achyutananda's words. Great wonder took birth in the hearts of all. The devotee said, Children never speak like that. What great soul has taken birth here? I do not know. At that moment, Lord Nityananda, Anantasesh, came from Nadia with all the devotees. So these devotees here were not brought by Nityananda Prabhu. All these people who came crossing the Ganga, they were coming from other villages. Now Nityananda Prabhu arrived with his group of devotees from all over Navadvip. Seeing the Lord, Srivas and the devotees made a great tumult of Hari. So Srivas was not one of the devotees then, obviously. Maybe it was Gadadhar. But Srivas saw. And then seeing the Lord, Srivas and all the other devotees made a great tumult of Hari. All the devotees offered Dandavat obeisances, grasping the Lord's graceful feet. They all wept. The Lord embraced everyone. Everyone considered the Lord as dear as life. Making a piteous sound, the devotees wept. Hearing that sound, all the worlds became purified. Filled with the bliss of love for Lord Krishna, the saintly devotees wept. Simply by hearing the sound of their weeping, everyone became free of all material bondage. By Lord Chaitanya's mercy, a great spiritual wealth was manifest there. Everyone tasted a spiritual nectar that even Brahma and the demigods find difficult to attain. Seeing the devotees, Lord Chaitanya joyfully began to dance. He tasted the nectar of love for a person who was actually himself. At once the devotees began to sing. Thundering like a cloud, the Lord demanded, "Chant, chant!" Grasping Lord Chaitanya, Nityananda danced. Unnoticed, Advaita touched the dust of the Lord's feet. Tears, trembling, hair standing on end, roaring, and uproarious laughter came like wonderful waves on the Lord's limbs. How graceful were his steps! How glorious were the motions of his hands and limbs! How will I describe the sweetness of the nectar love he felt? Joyfully raising his arms, he chanted, "Hari, Hari!" Seeing the Lord's nectar dancing and hearing his wonderful words, the devotees were plunged in great bliss. First, the Lord disappeared from the devotees when he took sannyas. Now, the Lord allowed them again to see him. Whose body, whose body was not overflowing with bliss? Surrounding the Lord, everyone joyfully danced. That's why separation is also an intricate part of ecstasy. That's Braj Prema. Separation, that's why the Lord, makes sometimes puts us in separation. Because when there is union after separation, that cannot be compared to anything else, right? Always being in union is one thing. But after separation, when there is union, that's greater heights. So, whose body was not overflowing with bliss at this experience? Surrounding the Lord, everyone joyfully danced. Who fell on whose body? Who held whom? Who placed whose feet on his chest? Who embraced whom and wept? Who said what? No one knew. It's not like, when you go in yatras, you go with your little group and, you stick with your group or your family members. Here, nothing like that. There were millions, countless millions of people, and everyone's center was only one, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then everyone was a family because there's one common center. So they were embracing whoever was next to him, weeping, holding that person, falling down on someone else. So Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur is saying, who, who fell on whose body, who held whom, who placed whose feet on his chest, who embraced whom and wept, who said what? No one knew. Everyone was wild with the bliss of spiritual love. In this way, the king of Vaikuntha danced with his associates. Wonderful pastimes like this had never before happened on the earth. Haribol, Haribol, oh my brothers, Haribol! No one could hear any sounds but these. What bliss had come to Advaita's home? Only Lord Nityananda, who was thousand-mouthed Anantasesh himself, knew the heart of what was happening. One by one, the devotees embraced the Lord. The Lord lovingly embraced all the devotees. Embraced by the king of Vaikuntha, the devotees became wild with bliss. Hari! The devotees roared like lions. They became wilder and wilder. Accompanied by his associates, the king of Vaikuntha danced. The earth trembled under their steps. Now become very wild, Effulgent Nityananda danced with Lord Chaitanya. Advaita joyfully danced. He roared. Everyone touched each other's feet. The bliss was like the bliss of Navadvip. Every night they would have kirtans and they would be out of this world. So the bliss was like the bliss of Navadvip. The singing, dancing, and pastimes were all the same. The Lord has taken sannyas, but nothing was different. They were having the same kirtan, same singing, dancing, and pastimes were all the same. For some moments, manifesting his true nature, Lord Chaitanya sat on the throne of Lord Vishnu, also like he would do there in Srivas Thakur's home. In the four directions, the devotees respectfully folded their hands. Now the Lord had revealed his true nature. He declared, I am Krishna, I am Rama, I am Narayan, I am Matsya, I am Kurma, Varaha, and Vamana. I am Buddha, Kalki, and Hamsa. I am Balaram, I am Prishnigarbha, Hayagriva, and Shiva. I am Jagannath, Kapila, and Narasimha. Whether they know it or not, all beings are like bumblebees at my lotus feet. I will have to stop there. Oh, okay, just one more page. Let's finish this chapter. All the Vedas sing my glories. Numberless millions of universes serve me. I appear as time personified before everyone, but the devotees. I come as time personified before everyone but the devotees. By remembering me, one breaks all calamities into pieces. I rescued Draupadi from embarrassment. I rescued the five Pandavas from the house of lack, killing Drikasur. I rescued Shiva. I rescued my servant Gajendra. I delivered Prahlad. I protected the Gopas, yeah, from the forest fire and from all the demons. I churned wonderful nectar. Cheating the demons, I protected the demigods. So Kurmadev and then Mohini Murti. Also Ajit Bhagwan. I killed Kamsa, the enemy of my devotees. I killed the demon Ravana's family. In my left hand I held Govardhan hill. I subdued the Kaliya snake. In Satya Yuga I preach the path of austerity. In Treta Yuga I descend and teach the path of Yagya. In Dwapar Yuga I descend and teach everyone the path of deity worship. Even the Vedas do not know all my incarnations. Now I have come to teach Sankirtan. By beginning the Sankirtan movement, I enjoy pastimes of pure love and devotion. That is why I have come to this Kali Yuga. All the Vedas and Puranas pray that I give them shelter. I am the eternal shelter of my devotees. My devotees are not different from me. My devotees are my father, mother, friend, son, and brother. Although I am independent and I enjoy pastimes as I like, I am still under the control of my devotees. Aham bhakta paradhina. Remember, the Lord is telling Durvasa Muni. Although I am independent and I enjoy pastimes as I like, I am still under the control of my devotees. You are all my personal. Let me just show you. You are all my personal associates, birth after birth. When I descend to this world, I take all of you with me. I will not leave you even for a half a sesame seed's worth of time. Please know that is the truth. In this way, the Lord mercifully revealed the truth. Hearing his words, all the devotees wept aloud. Again and again, everyone offered dandavat obeisances. Again and again, they fell, rose, spoke prayers in voices trembling with emotion, and wept. What bliss was in Advaita's home! The same nectar present before in the towns of Nadia was also present there. The devotees' desires were all fulfilled. Their sufferings were all broken to pieces. The Lord knows how to break his devotees' sufferings into pieces. Why do the suffering conditioned souls not worship a master like him? How loving is him? Why do the suffering conditioned souls why do they not worship him? A Lord like that Lord Chaitanya is an ocean of kindness. The Lord does not see others' faults. He thinks only of their virtues. After some moments, the Lord concealed his divine opulences because he was showing them that I am the Supreme Lord. So he concealed his divine opulences. Returning to external consciousness, he became peaceful. Taking everyone with him, the Lord went to the Ganga to bathe. In many ways, he played in the Ganga's waters. After bathing, he returned with everyone. He watered and circumambulated Tulasi. He circumambulated the temple of Lord Vishnu, bowed down, and taking everyone with him, he went to Vrindavan. In the middle, Lord Chaitanya sat down with Nityananda. In the four directions around them, their associates happily sat. The Lord's face blossomed with happiness. Sandal paste anointed his every limbs. With his devotees around him in the four directions, he happily ate. It was as if, accompanied by the Gopas in the midst of Vrindavan forest, Krishna and Balaram were enjoying pastimes of eating lunch. As he ate, the Lord conversed with everyone. Again and again he joked and he laughed. Who has the power to describe all these pastimes? Only a person who has attained the Lord's mercy can say anything about them. Finishing his meal, the Lord left. Then the devotees ate what he had left on his plate. Even the old men became like children. That is the power of devotion to Lord Vishnu. Saintly devotees who hear all these stories, so they became like children means they started like taking from the Lord's plate. That's the power. And they were all like very sober, pure devotees. That is the power of devotion to Lord Vishnu. Saintly devotees who hear all these stories will someday meet Lord Chaitanya. Hari Bol. The devotees saw the Lord again. The Lord revealed his divine opulences. And then they enjoyed Sankirtan. Then the Lord ate lunch with all the Vaishnavas. This is what we read in this chapter. The devotees saw the Lord again. The Lord revealed his opulences. They enjoyed Sankirtan. And then they all took lunch. The Lord ate lunch with all the Vaishnavas. Anyone who hears these pastimes will attain a great treasure of ecstatic love. The two moons, Sri Krishna Chaitanya and Sri Nityananda, are my life and soul. I, Vrindavan Das, sing the glories of their feet. So we will stop here. It's been 1 hour since we started. Hare Krishna.
Why are you? We didn't know that you're going to take class today. Today is Sunday evening.
Yeah, that's why I read Chaitanya Bhagavat instead of Chaitanya Charitamrita, so you don't lose the continuity. And I sent a message in the WhatsApp that we are reading Chaitanya Bhagavat. So if you see the beginning of the recording, you will see. I said that on Saturday, Sunday, we'll read Chaitanya Bhagavat. One, because we are not getting enough time to read Chaitanya Bhagavat, because so many Saturdays we miss because of this or that. Now that we have this option of recording, we can always go back and hear. And I didn't want to lose one day in between, so I'm using Sunday also. Is that okay?
Not okay, but if you say it's okay, Mataji.
Because the thing is, there's devotees hearing from other parts also. Now, it's not just in ISKCON Philly. I understand for you it's Sunday evening, but here it is Sunday morning. And I think most of them are actually hearing it later, the recordings. So I thought let's just take advantage of this and
Okay, Mataji. Not a
and we will
problem.
we'll be repeating again and again. So we'll be reading Chaitanya Bhagavat. Yes.
No problem.
Hare
Thank
Krishna,
you so
Mataji.
much.
Yes.
So
Please.
have you shared this PDF in the group?
Which PDF?
This
Chaitanya
from where you
Bhagavat.
read, because I think this is some notes or something like that. It's not the exact translation from Chaitanya Bhagavat book, right? So
It is.
it's
Why?
different.
No, it is.
No, Mataji, I think it's different. I was, when you were reading, I was just I just opened the book, so there was a different. It was a different translation. I mean,
Maybe
was
it's a
same thing,
different
but different
translation.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
different words. Yes, yes, yes.
Yes.
Because this is, I think this is Kushakrata Prabhu's translation. This is a very old translation actually, because this is what I used to read even in 2000, in the year 2000, 2001,
Okay.
2002. We had this book. Back then, we didn't have even the purports in English. That came later. The Chaitanya Bhagavat with purports, 7 volume, that came later. At that time,
Acha.
we only had this book with only
Mm-hmm.
English translations, the
Mm-hmm.
verse and its translation. So it flows like a story. So that's what
Story.
I used
Yeah.
to read. And this is now available on ISKCON Desire Tree if you want to.
Okay. Yeah, I'll download it from there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a regular student of this class, so I
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
know.
you can read Mataji. It's really
Okay.
nectar. You can read it every day, like bedtime before going, and you will
Yes.
see it nourishes you like anything. You should read.
Yeah, Mataji. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Hare Krishna.